What's up everyone, welcome back to Living Survival. Today we're going to take a look at another high quality piece of gear from my buddy Malcolm, the Hidden Woodsman. We're going to look at his brand new survival kit. So many times when I go out to the woods filming, as I'm doing today, or out to the woods for a day full of fun, I take my Hidden Woodsman Haversack, and it contains in it everything that I'm gonna need for the day. Now, if I'm going for an extended time, maybe an overnighter, or for a camping trip, I usually will take a larger bag, but I most often carry this bag as well. Whether I put it in my kit or I just carry it over my shoulder, I can get a lot of gear in here, and it helps me organize my gear into the stuff that I use most. So the Hidden Woodsman, if you're not familiar with that, makes handmade, made in the USA, high quality gear. This is his Haversack, a piece of kit that I've had for quite some time. He uses Cordura fabrics, he uses Duraflex buckles, YKK zips, so all the high quality stuff. In this Haversack, I carry the gear that I need for the day, or in camping scenarios, I'll take what I need for a scout, or maybe I'll make this my food kit, or in this case, I have it loaded up just for a bushcrafting style kit. So under the flap here, you have another pouch from Malcolm. This is his Possibles pouch. I have this loaded up with all sort of maintenance type stuff, from oil to sharpening stones to leather straps, ceramic rods. This is sort of my field maintenance kit. Now, if I were gonna take this as a food kit, I could load this up with a couple pouches of food. I could load it up with a stove, a fire kit. So a lot of things you can do with these Possible pouches, and this is another option that he has on his website. He has these Tinder Bags, which are great. I can go behind me and harvest a ton of birch bark and have tinder for days, or use this for any other sort of collection method when you're out in the woods. Sometimes I'll load this up with bank line or different cordage, just again depending on the use that I'm using it for. I always have a water bottle with me, and what we're going to talk about today is this brand new survival kit from the Hidden Woodsman. I have this thing loaded down. You can see how much gear you can fit into this. I absolutely do not even have this maxed out. There's a ton more room on either side. I could stuff things in here, but we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the full contents of this kit. Again, high quality materials made out of 500D and 400D, high quality large YKK zippers on it, and also Duraflex hardware. So another great piece of kit from Malcolm. Now, these start at $40, which is a steal for a large piece of kit like this. You know, you can fit a lot of stuff in here that you're gonna see in a moment, and I like how it fits down perfectly down into my Haversack right next to my water bottle. I can throw that Tinder bag in there. I can throw my Possibles pouch on top. There's even a flap in the front here where I can keep an additional knife. I can keep my saw, so I can really fit a ton of gear in here. There's also an additional zippered pocket in the front here that I could store even more gear, maybe quick access items like my phone or my keys, or you know, fire items. Just throw a lighter in there is what I usually do. But all in this small piece of kit here, I can fit a ton of gear, and that's what I really like about it. So let's check out the contents of my survival kit. So I did a previous video using this pouch as a cook kit, and that was until I realized that you can stuff a whole lot more into this pouch. So I scrapped that video and I decided to load it up, as he says, as a survival kit. What this kit does for me is it allows me to organize the gear that I either forget to take, or the gear that's laying loosely in my Haversack or other pack when I go out for the day, when I go filming, or when I go camping. And that's really what works best for me. You can see that I have it packed pretty full. There's still plenty of space in here, plenty of material that you can get more in here. So on one side, I guess the front side, you have a zippered pocket. On the back side, you have a full length strip, pretty wide strip here of hook and loop, which you can attach patches to label what the kit contains. Maybe you load this up as a medical kit. You could throw a medical patch on there. The heavy duty YKK zip does go all the way around so that you can suitcase it open. And then up top here there is a grab handle. I went ahead and threw on some paracord here, kind of dresses up the handle a little bit, but it also serves as a way to carry some extra cordage. So there's 10 feet of cordage in here. Of course, paracord has multiple strands, so you could, you know, take that apart and make even more cordage if you have to. It is quick release, so all I have to do is find the tag in here and pull it. That's the way it has been woven on there, so I think that's really cool too. And on the side here I just have clipped some ranger beads. If you're unfamiliar with what ranger beads are, basically they allow you to calculate distance by your pace. So you set a certain pace distance per bead, and then as you pace that off, you can keep track of how far you've gone. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about navigation, and pace beads are a really cool part of that. So on the outside of the kit here I have first aid. First aid is something that I carry all the time with me, whether I'm just going out for the day or whether I'm going out for a overnight or for a few day camp. Definitely a good idea to have first aid with you. So I carry that right in the outside of the pouch where it's easily accessible. So I just went ahead and threw together a simple first aid kit here. It has all sorts of stuff in here, some tape, some gauze. It's got some different medications, some sting relief, some alcohol prep pads, some gauze pads, some band-aids. Basically just like one of those kits that you could buy pre-made. Let's see if I have anything else down in here. I believe that's it in the front pouch there. So first aid, again, readily accessible on the outside. All right, so then on into the main portion of the pouch. Again, this zip goes all the way around, and then the whole kit sort of suitcases open, which is nice. On the left hand side here, you have a zippered compartment. You have a little bit of a webbing in the middle here that you could put stuff into. I thought about maybe putting a water filter in there. You could put, you know, some extra gauze pads in there or something, or a roll of gauze if you're using it as a medical kit. Again, the way you, the fun of it is the way that you choose to fill these kits up. On this side, just a little key hanger. Again, Duraflex hardware on here. I put a few safety pins through there. Always a nice, nice thing to have. Safety pins. And then on this side you have a few different layers here of webbing. So you have the main layer here, which is the darker color, and then you have the lighter on top. Now, one thing that I would like to mention that that maybe gets changed about this kit is that you probably want to put a little bit of extra material on this outside portion of the webbing. And the reason is once you shove thick items underneath and you're stretching that underneath layer out, it's really hard to get things into this next layer. So if you have a little bit of excess there, it makes that easier to use that second layer. Now, of course, when you have nothing in the bottom layer, it is going to, you know, appear that you have too much webbing there. But again, once you shove stuff underneath, gives you that extra space. So definitely a recommendation maybe for a future kit, but otherwise it does work really well for organizing your gear. So we can start up top here. Again, I just have a small water filter. This is just the Aquamira emergency straw. You simply just stick it on there like that and go ahead and you know, pull some water from a river, lake, or stream. Generally, I'll have a better water filter with me, or water treatment, or a way to boil water, which I also have in this kit. But this comes in handy if I need a drink, if my water bottle is empty. And in Michigan, you know, you can't go far without hitting a river, lake, or stream. So something like that comes in really handy. Then I have my Leatherman super tool. Again, a great item to have if I forget to carry a blade with me, which does happen. If I forget to, you know, have a saw with me, this has a saw in it. So, you know, a couple of great items in here, including the extras that you get with the pliers, the wire cutters, and all the screwdriver bits. Good idea to have a multi-tool in your kits. Finally, on this last piece of webbing here, I have some of this Tough Glide. This is just some oil that I can use to lubricate you know, the multi-tool or lubricate my blades. A lot of times these will get wet, or they'll get sandy, or they'll get muddy. I can clean those off, especially if I'm at camp for a couple days, and I can apply some oil that way. Next up, I have some hand sanitizer. Now this comes from CVS, but it's actually a small little pump bottle. So what's great about these is that you could use up the hand sanitizer. You could fill it with maybe alcohol, again, to maybe clean wounds, or you could use that as a fire starter. So a couple different options you can do with a little pump bottle there. I just have a simple Sharpie. And then behind that, I have about 6-7 feet of Gorilla Tape. Again, great stuff for mending equipment. If you have a rip in a piece of clothing or one of your shelters or a tarp or something, maybe you burn a little hole in something, which I've done before, this Gorilla Tape works really well for that. Now behind that, you have a little flap here. So in that flap, I actually have what is called a bear bowl. These are very, very cool. I saw these on Canadian Prepper's channel, got in contact. They sent me all 3 sizes of their bear bowls, so we're going to be checking those out in some future videos. But this one happens to fit super good in the Hidden Woodsman survival kit. So what this is it's actually a bowl, so you can use it as a container. It's a way to boil water, and you know, unlike a canteen or a mug or a bottle, for example, you're unable to get that type of an item down into a kit. So in the bug out roll from Canadian Prepper, for example, I'm going to put one of the larger sizes in there because I couldn't get a large container or a water bottle in that kit, and I was struggling to find an option, and this is the solution. So a great thing to have in here. Again, if I forget to carry a water bottle with me, I can use this to collect, not only collect water, but I can also use it to boil water, and that's the beauty of this kit. So basically what you do is you just fold the walls up here. These sides just snap together like so. And fold this other wall up here. You notice they have little holes in them. So the holes line up with the snaps. Then we can snap the handle on to the other side here. And then you have a fully functional, fully waterproof container with metal on the bottom. So you can place this on a stove, you can place this on a fire, you could hang it over a fire, and you're going to be able to sanitize or boil water. That way you can also use this to cook food in. So very, very awesome piece of kit, and it fits down awesome into this little survival kit. Then behind that I have a Rain River poncho. Brian Stevens from Survival on Purpose reviewed these. He reviewed a whole bunch of affordable ponchos, and he really liked this one, so I got a few of them. It fits perfectly down in here. Again, if I leave home and I don't remember a coat, or if it starts raining, or even if I need a temporary shelter, something like that is going to come in very handy. So that's it for this side. You can already see how much stuff you can cram into a small pouch like this, and we're just getting started here. So let's go ahead and unzip the pouch here, and I'll just start pulling things out. I've got a DC4 sharpener, so use this to keep my tools sharp. Always a good idea to have in a kit. And again, these are items that would just free float in my bags previously, so it's nice to finally have them all organized in one piece of kit. In this little kit here, you have a backup Ferrocerium Rod, some little Tinder Quicks, but what I use the most in this kit is this here, which is basically an extendable, I believe it's aluminum straw here, and what this allows me to do is blow on my fire, whether it's a wood stove or an actual open fire, or a stove in a teepee, for example. This thing comes in really handy, especially if you have marginal wood. You can really put a lot of oxygen right where you need it with one of these straws, and it works really, really well. So I like this kit. I always keep that with me. Next up, I just have a lighter. Always a good idea to have a lighter. I've got some purification tablets here. So although I can boil water with the bear bowl, if I didn't have a way to boil that water, I could simply just fill this up and pop a couple tablets in there, and I'd have clean water to drink. Next up here, I have some bank line, and I ordered this little spool for the bank line from, I believe, Sagewood gear. So I have some bank line. It's just spooled around this little piece of Kydex here. I'll have a link below to where I got that, but that works really well for keeping a decent amount of bank line organized in your kits. I have some paracord, just some black 550 cord here. Then I have my SE striker. This allows me to use like flint and steel, and I could get a fire started that way. It's also got a bow drill divot in it. So that's a pretty cool piece of kit there. Along with that, I have some extra tinder, and I believe I do have a piece of a stone in here that will take a spark. So I can use this and I can make a spark that way. Then I also have some of this brand new tinder from Production Hanger 51. This is their new fire tinder stuff. They're the makers of fat rope. So I was gonna put a whole piece of fat rope in here, or a chunk of fat rope, but I probably have more than enough of this small stuff to get a bunch of fires going. So just a small little tinder container here. Then next up, I have my headlamp. I often do leave without a flashlight, and sometimes it does get dark. So not only do I have a way to illuminate whatever I happen to be doing, but I also clipped on one of these Sunto clip-on compasses, which is basically the best small button compass you can get. That clips right onto the headband. I clipped it on there so I don't forget where it is, I don't lose it, and that works really well. And that's it for this compartment. So you can see here, I can get a lot of gear in this small little pouch, but even with all that gear in here, there's still plenty of room. I could stuff stuff along the side. I could get a lot more cordage in there, for example. What I chose to do with this kit is put in items that I either forget or items that were just loose fitting in my main haversack. So I have the basic, what I call the basic. I have blade, which is my multi-tool. I have aid, which is first aid. I got shelter, which is my Rain River poncho. I got all sorts of ignition from the Tinder Quicks, the Ferrocerium Rod, the lighter, and my tinder and my SE striker here. I don't have any calories in here, but again, I do have a way to not only purify water, but also boil water or cook food. You can cook noodles in there. Anything that you can make with water, you can do with one of these bear bowls. And again, we'll be looking at a few different sizes of those in a future video. So I really think this is an awesome kit. You can get this in several different colors. Again, since it's handmade, he only does several of these at a time. He does a batch amount in a certain color, pops them on the website, and then when they're gone, you got to wait for the next run. So if you're interested in something like this, it's $40. I know he has a few different colors on the website there. There'll definitely be a link below for that. I recommend you go and you pick one up. It works really well for me, and I think it's going to work really well for you. So the possibilities are endless as to what you can put in these pouches. Very high quality materials, as always, from the Hidden Woodsman. I'm going to put a link below to where you guys can pick one of these up for yourselves. Now, they are custom made, so he does batches at a time, as with all his gear. You can easily navigate through his website and see which color options are in stock and out of stock. These start at $40, which in my opinion is a steal for a high quality piece of kit like this that can hold so much gear. You can fill this thing up with just about anything, and the ways you can use it are pretty much endless. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Please give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you leave me a comment below in the comment section. Share this video to any friends or family who might be interested in a Hidden Woodsman survival kit or any Hidden Woodsman gear on your social media. And as always, if you haven't already done so, please click that red subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified of new videos.